Hello, students. This is lesson 4, unit 3, Connect Plus. The new vocabulary: electricity, 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 a kind of power, a kind of power. Fire, fire. Fire means light, heat, and smoke together. Light, heat, and smoke together, we call it fire. Preserve, preserve. Preserve, keep things in good state. Keep things in a good state. Store, keep things to use them in the future. Keep things to use them in the future. Dry without liquids. Dry without liquids. Container, we use it to hold the food. Ceramic pot, a ceramic container. Can, a metal container. Jar, a glass container. The lesson in the book. This lesson, students, is telling us about the ways in which we keep food to use it later. We have how did people keep food to use it later? Because as students, we can't eat all the food at one time. If we buy, for example, 2 kilograms of meat, we can't eat it all in lunch or in dinner. We need to keep it. So, how did we keep it in the past and how do we keep it now? In the past, we don't have fridges and the freezers. We don't have electricity. We didn't have electricity. So how did we keep it in the past? We are going to learn that. And how do we keep food nowadays? We are going to learn that. So in the past, students, there was no electricity. People kept food by using salt, like like fish. They put salt on fish to keep it. Like meat, they used fire. Sometimes they put things on fire to have a smoke to preserve food. Sometimes they keep things to dry, like fruit and meat. Sometimes they put things in containers, like in this picture, ceramic zero. Let's read this in the lesson. It is important to eat the right food, but it is also important to look after food to keep it fresh and safe. We need to preserve and store food. If we don't store food properly, it can go bad. If we don't store food properly, it can go bad, and this makes us sick. Now we can use fridges and freezers to store food. These need electricity to work. How can we preserve food if we don't have electricity? And how did people preserve food in the past? Here, students will learn that we should eat healthy food and we should also eat good food because food may go bad if we put it away out of fridge. But in the past, people didn't have fridges because they didn't have electricity. How did people in the past keep food? These are the ways in which people kept food. Fire. Fire means smoke, light, and heat. Smoke, light, and heat. People used the fire to make smoked meat and fish. We used this a long time ago, and we still use it now. Yes, some people don't have electricity. They make fire, and the smoke helps them to keep meat and fish for a long time. Salt. We can add salt to food to preserve it. It takes out the water. People use this all over the world for meat and fish. Yes, students, in the past, some people bought meat with salt in boxes to keep it for a longer time. Some people also nowadays keep fish in salt because salt takes the water away and it keeps the meat good for a long time. Drying. We can dry fruit in the sun. Dried apples, figs, grapes, bananas, and mangoes are all delicious. Dried apples, figs, grapes, bananas, mangoes are fruit. We keep it in the sun. The sun takes the water away and it keeps the fruit, and then we can keep the fruit for a longer time. When we dry fruit, it takes out the water and keeps the nutrients. The fruit is sweet and delicious, and it's healthy because we don't add sugar. Yes, fruit is better than sugar. Yes, there is sugar in fruit, but the kind of sugar in fruit is better than the sugar that we put on tea. Okay. Containers. There are different ways of storing food in containers. Containers like cans, like tins, like pots, like packets. Now we are going to learn the containers. Their pots, their pots. Thousands of years ago, people invented their pots to keep food fresh. The food is inside one ceramic pot. This pot is put inside a bigger ceramic pot. You put sand between the two pots, then put water in the sand. The water takes the heat away and the food stays cool. Let me show you this on Google. Look at the picture, students. There's one pot inside and a bigger one outside. Between the two pots, there is sand. We put sand and then we put water. Look at this picture. Inside, we put the food. Outside, we put the sand and then we pour water. The water takes the heat from the food inside, then we can keep it for a longer time. This is zir ceramic or ceramic zir. Cans and jars. People also use cans and jars to preserve food. You put the food in a liquid with salt and close the can. No air gets into the jar or can, and the food lasts for years. Like the beans we buy from the mall, it is preserved in cans. There's salt with beans, and the can is closed. Let me show you example of cans. Look, cans for soft drinks and cans for food. We put the food inside, or drinks, we put it inside, and we keep it for a long time. Now, the exercise. A Picture A is number three, which is drying. This is fruit, it is dried. Here, fish. How can we keep fish? With salt. So we write here number two. And this is container. It contains food. And this is smoke, which helps us to preserve food. Smoke comes from fire. So here, this is salt number two, and this is container number four, and this is a smoke which comes from fire, and it is number one. Exercise two, read and complete. When we dry food, we take out water and keep nutrients. We add to food to we add salt to food to preserve it, preserve it or keep it. We can store food in containers. We need to store food in a fridge. We need electricity. Electricity. This is the end of lesson 4. Thank you.